Kia ora, my name is Robbie and I'm another white man behind a desk. I tell jokes about important things and sometimes people get confused and think that what I do is important. But it isn't important. It's satire. Satire has never really mattered. When Peter Cook opened a satire club in 1961, he said he'd modelled it on those Berlin cabarets that did so much to prevent the rise of Hitler, which is exactly the sort of unhelpful thing you'd expect a satirist to say. But if there's one thing New Zealand is good at, it's stuff that doesn't really matter, which is why we've always been so good at satire. You don't believe me. That's fine. Let me show you.
At the start of the 20th century, things in New Zealand weren't going so well. The only break we had between two depressing world wars was the Great Depression. By the 1940s, things had become so unremittingly bad that books had to be funny just so we could cope. Alan Kernow summed it up, "Here we foreno laughter, there we shall have wept." Arthur Fairbairn gave us "The Sky is a Limpet," which was only slightly more absurd than actual wartime speeches, and Dennis Glover started the great New Zealand tradition of insulting New Zealand, saying that when it came to Kiwi literature, you should try the guidebooks, goodness knows our scenery's better than our prose. But when it came to the Second World War, no New Zealand satirist could quite beat David Lowe. Not only did he inspire generations of New Zealand cartoonists, he was also the only cartoonist to end up on Hitler's blacklist, which is basically the Nobel Prize of satire. In the 1970s, the 60s arrived in New Zealand, and with it came the satire boom. Smart-ass uni students up and down the country started putting on performances for other smart-ass uni students. Victoria gave us 1 in 5, Canterbury and Otago gave us McPhail and Gadsby, and Auckland was also a university. Shh.
Yeah, my real ambition... What's your language? My real ambition was to be on... Vaginary calendar.
Despite the talent, getting satire from the stage to the television wasn't easy. In the early 1970s, there was still only one state-owned channel, and state-owned channels aren't always too thrilled about people mocking the state.
But then came 1975 and TV2 and the hippies took over Avalon Studios. We got a week of it, that's David McPhail, McPhail and Gadsby with David McPhail, and more issues with that's also David McPhail. And then came Public Eye and Facelift, which believed that the quality of satire was directly proportional to how creepy you could make your masks.
I see you around these parts.
The magical years where television had a lack of state control and a lack of state funding, it didn't last long. But Jeremy Wells still managed to eat his media lunch. And Nathan Nardetti's still showing us his brown eye.
Get out of my home.
Fair enough. With the new millennium came a new medium. And it was terrifying. In 1996, we got the internet, which was so slow it was like not having the internet, but more frustrating. Slowly, we learned to embrace it. Satirists turned to Facebook and YouTube, shouting into the void, watching the numbers to see if anybody cared enough to press a button.
Winston Peters and Peter Dunn convened a secret meeting in a poorly lit garage shortly before dawn this morning, just to confirm that the plan is still working and that nobody suspects anything.
So, for all your anger needs while you're busy investing in crime prevention, remember, take it out on Gavin. And sure, satirists might not be as helpful as librarians or the people that paint the lines on the road, but we'll always be here, trying to convince ourselves that even if the world is as bad as it seems, you and I can handle it anyway.